Can't recall the color of your shirt that day, or what the weatherman was trying to say. The specific words that finally broke the seal. But I remember how the brokenness would feel. It's all impressionistic, blurred at best, a fading Polaroid found in a mess. The sharpness is all gone, the focus shot, leaving only what the hurt and somehow caught. I'm living in the shadow of a memory, a silhouette of how it used to be. The outline of your hand, the shape of we, a darkness cast by light I can no longer see. It's cooler here and quiet and it's gray, the echo of a sun that moved away. And I can't chase it, can't make the details form, just live inside this shadow, faint and warm. I try to force the film to develop right, to bring your light from darkness into light. But chemicals of time have done their work, leaving just a mood, a haunting quirk, a sense of warmth, a pang of deep regret, a vague I haven't quite let go of you yet. The facts are obsolete, they've run and fled, leaving only this impression in my head. I'm living in the shadow of a memory, living in the silhouette of a memory, a silhouette of how it used to be. The outline of your hand, the shape of we, a darkness cast by light I can no longer see. It's cooler here and quiet and it's gray, the echo of a sun that moved away. And I can't chase it, can't make the details form, just live inside this shadow, faint and warm. Maybe this is how the heart makes peace with a love it had to prematurely release. It lets the facts all gently decompose, and just the feeling like a perfume rose. So I am not tormented by the how, just cradled by the everlasting wow of having had you briefly in my sky before you became the shadow passing by. Shadow, a soft and dark friend from beginning to end. Just a shadow of a memory. I called just to hear your voicemail tone, the 30 seconds where I'm not alone, a recorded version of your talk to me, a museum piece of how this used to be. But now it just rings out into the black, a silent scream I can't take back. And in the emptiness, a sound begins to grow, a hollow rush, a desperate, lonely static on the line, a broken sound where all our perfect conversations drown. I'm shouting, can you hear me, to the void, a frequency forever unemployed. It's the sound of distance, tangible and thick, the dying pulse of a connection, sick, just static on the line. We built a world on words, a universe of talk, from good morning sun to good night moon. cover up the fundamental fear that we had nothing solid left to say, so we let the noise get in the way. I'm hanging up for good. I'll cut the wire and sit alone in silence by the fire. No more static on the line, just clean, clear air. Quiet so complete, it's almost fair. I'm on the conversations we let die, the unsaid truths we hid behind the side. But in the silence I can finally see the clearest signal was to set us free from the static on the The line is dead. The quiet's mine. Finally. It used to be a comfortable thing, a quiet, a shared blanket, a peaceful, loving riot. We'd speak in touches, glances, easy breath, a language softer than the fear of death. But now the quiet's dropped its gentle disguise and stared me straight in my unbelieving eyes. It's grown a density, a thickness in the room. It presses on the walls, it amplifies the gloom. This is the weight of the silence, crushing down a toneless sound that wraps this whole town. It's in the space between how was your day and looking out the window, turning away. It's the unanswered question hanging from the ceiling, the brutal truth that's past the point of feeling. The weight of the silence, solid as a stone in a house where love is packed up and has flown. I turn the TV on for company. A laugh track's hollow, frantic melody. It bounces off the quiet, can't compete with this immense and agonizing feat of bearing up beneath the sound of none, knowing that our final song is sung. So I scream into it, I shout my name, I curse, I cry, I make a noise so terrified and hide. The silence drinks it up and swallows whole, even just the echo in my soul. Even my own voice can't break this spell, this heavy living, soundless, lonely hell. be. We planted promises in easy spring, when every bird had such a hopeful song to sing. I watered daily with my blind belief, ignore the underneath the brown and leaf. I praised the bloom and turned it to the sun, and missed the fact that damage had begun down low. The petals look so perfect from above, but you can't fake the feel of dying love. We're wilting at the roots, a slow decay. The soil of our trust has turned to clay. No sudden storm, no furious attack, just something vital that we cannot get back. The colors fading from our highest bough. I see it now, I see the truth and how we're wilting at the roots. I tried more sunlight, tried a different feed, a desperate gardening kind of greed. I pruned the problems, staked up all the doubt, to try and force the living feeling out. But in the quiet, when the wind would cease, I'd hear the whispering of the roots release. And do you pull it up? Do you let it stand? This monument to what you both planned. Do you watch it languish day by dying day? Or do you bless it and just walk away? The hardest death is not the one that's fast, it's the one you see coming right until the last. We wilted at the roots, it wasn't spite. We just grew thirsty for a different light. Our branches tangled, but our feet were cold, in a story that was tender, but too old. So I'll stop pouring where the earth won't drink, and sit beside this ending on the brink of wilting at the roots. Goodbye, my lovely, lonely tree. Thank you for the shade you gave to me. The TV's on, but no one's home. It's casting shadows, blue and chrome, across the ceiling, telling lies of perfect lives in perfect sky. I flip through channels of my mind, the shows we left behind untied. A sitcom laugh track, sharp and cruel, in this my empty, lonely school. All I get is midnight static, a fuzzy, desperate, hopeless magic, searching for your frequency, but you're not broadcasting back to me. Just the hiss of empty space, the snow on a forgotten face. I twist the dial inside. Just midnight static. Picture sharp and clear, but I can't seem to make you near. The signal weakens with each swipe, but slowly the trident pipe that drains the color, drains the sound, till all that's left is lost and found. And I am just a receiver broke, choking on this static smoke, and all I get is that plays the songs we used to will into existence with a kiss? Or is all love just static hiss, a cosmic accident of noise that briefly gave us stolen joys before the signal went to ground, without a trace, without a sound? Searching, we should really try to came and not a comma hanging in the air between us, a dangling promise so ambiguous. I've written all the endings in my head, the cruel ones, kind ones, and the ones I've bled, but none of them fit on that jagged line where your voice stopped and your hand left mine. I'm stuck inside an unfinished sentence, a cliffhanger with no defense, a story begging for an end on which my sanity depends. I keep adding words you'll never say to get me through the night and day, but the grammar of my heart is broke. It's just a desperate silent choke on an unfinished sentence. A book with half the pages torn, the plot just stopped the morning you were gone. I try to read ahead to guess the theme, but I'm just lost inside a waking dream of what came after that dash, that pause. That was the universe's hidden cause for rewriting every single plan and leaving us a lonely, unfinished man. I'm stuck inside an unfinished sentence, a cliffhanger with no defense, try just an unfinished sentence. Goodbye. Goodbye. Swear I hear your footsteps on the stair. A heavy sigh displacing the still air. A half-remembered scent of coffee there, where you'd stand and run your fingers through your hair. I turn so fast my heart begins to race, to find an empty and a silent space. Just the sunlight falling on your face in a photograph I can't erase. You're just a ghost in the hallway, a whisper in the wall, a silhouette of maybe before the final fall. A chill I can't explain in the middle of July, a permanent sweet stain on the corner of my eye. Just a ghost in the hallway. I set the table out for dinner too, a force of habit I can't seem to undo. I talk to shadows, tell them about my day, and the words I practiced that I didn't say. The fridge still hums your favorite song, it seems, a soundtrack to my most pathetic dreams, where you're not just a fragment torn at seams, where nothing's ever quite as lost as it seems. You're just a ghost in the hallway, a whisper in the wall, a silhouette of maybe before the final fall. Chill I can't explain in the middle of July, a permanent sweet stain on the corner of my eye. I don't believe in heaven, don't believe in hell, but I believe in how a memory can dwell in the fabric of a home, in the pulse, the swell of a story that a lonely heart retells. So harm me then if harm you must, in whispers of forgotten dust. It's a kind of pain than letting go of the last warm light I used to know. Ghost in the hall, I'll answer when you call, even though it's nothing, nothing at all. Just a ghost in the hallway. You left in the middle of a thought we shared. The syntax of our future just hung there, And next year we should maybe try to. I've always felt with you that we could. The words just dangle incomplete and raw. The most defining grammar that I ever saw. My mind keeps trying to supply the end, a period, a comma, to pretend an unfinished sentence hanging in the air, a question mark of did you ever care, a cliffhanger with no sequel on the shelf, a story I am forced to finish by myself. Do I end it with a scream or with a sigh, or just a simple honest and defeated why? This unfinished sentence. I write conclusions in the dark each night. Some end in fury, some in gentle light. One version as you walking back through that door, picking up the thought from where it was before. Another has me turning, walking to, and starting a fresh sentence just for me and you. But I am not a character you left behind in a poorly plotted story in your mind. I am the author and the narrator's voice, and I have, goddamn it, finally made a choice. I'm taking your abandoned, dangling phrase, and I'm giving it a ending full of grace. I'll finish this sentence with a gentle then, and turn the final page and start again. Not with a bang, a whimper, or a curse, but with a quiet, solitary verse. The story wasn't wasted, it was true. It just ends differently than thought with you. My finished sentence. The end. The end. They say be careful with it as I go. This heart of mine that everyone can know, it's not behind a rib cage thick and strong. It's carried in my hands where it belongs. And yes, it's full of hairline cracks and seams from fallen, shattered, half-remembered dreams. It catches light in fascinating ways, and it might break on any given day. This fragile glass heart, transparent and true, shows every scar, every shade of blue. You can see the love that's swirling in the core, and the wounds from all the love that came before. It's not a weakness, this delicate art. It's the brave, bold choice to feel with a glass heart, handle with hope, or simply let it be. But no, it's for its majesty. I won't wrap it in cotton, hide it in a case, or try to etch a false smile on its face. It might get chipped, it might get scratched again, learning to hold the joy and hold the pain. Each fracture tells a story of a chance I took, a page written in life's most honest book. And if it shatters, I'll gather every piece, mosaic, a new masterpiece from peace. A glass heart isn't meant to stay the same. Its beauty isn't changing in the flame that melts and reforms it, never quite as clear, but wiser and a little less in fear. This fragile glass heart, a vulnerable show, letting every person that I meet know, here's my center, handle it with care. But I'm the one who chooses to hold it there. It's my greatest risk, my most tender part. This beautiful, breakable, fragile glass heart. It's not weak, it's just real. The milk's gone cold between my palms, a steeped in bitter kind of calm. I watch the steam give up the ghost of conversations I miss the most. You liked it with too sugar sweet. I tease you till you take your seat. Now the sugar bowl just gathers dust along with we and us, and trust. It's just cold tea and regret, a duet I can't forget, steeping in the not quite yet, and then I haven't let it go. Cold leaves at the bottom, see a murky, deep and silent sea of all the things you meant to be, and all the things I'll never know. Just cold tea. I rinse the cup, the stain remains, a tannin shadow on the plains of porcelain, a perfect ring of how you left with everything. The morning light feels like your story on this silent, sleepy story of a love that boiled over, then just went and quietly grew thin. It's just cold tea and regret, a duet I can't forget, steeping in the not quite yet, and the I haven't let it go. Cold leaves at the bottom, see a murky, deep and silent sea of all the things you meant to be, and all the things I'll used to be. Cold tea and regret. You wrote them on my skin with summer hands, an ink that felt like it would never fade. We built a palace on those shifting sands, a perfect bride and fragile masquerade. Forever was your favorite word to trace. Along my palm beneath the August moon, I saw our future in your earnest face. The symphony's supposed to start in June, but they were paper thin promises, folded into fragile origami hearts, invisible ink vows and tender kisses that were doomed to fall apart. Words that melted in the rain at the slightest touch of doubt, leaving just a silent strain of what I can't live with or without. Paper thin promises. I kept them in a box lined with my hope, each whispered always every you and me. I didn't see the fraying of the rope, I was too busy loving blindingly. The first tear came so quietly aside, and maybe next time we're a yes should be. Then the whole thing caught the wind and flew so high and disappeared somewhere out over the sea. They were just paper thin promises, folded into fragile origami hearts, invisible ink vows and tender kisses that were doomed to fall apart. Words that melted in the rain at the slightest touch of doubt, leaving just a silent strain of what I can't live with or without. Now I'm an archivist of ashen air, curating shadows tending to a ghost, comparing every new love to the day of trusting words that matter to me most. And when someone says I'll never go, a part of me just wants to softly laugh and show the museum of my sorrow the fragile paper thin epitaph. Paper burns so easily, promises just ghost debris, scattering in front of me, just paper. Just paper. watch the mug you always used, a modern artifact, a little bit abused. A ring of brown is baked into the glaze, a fossil of our ordinary days. I pour my own now, careful not to touch that sacred stained and sentimental crutch. It's not the grand gestures that I miss the most. It's this quiet ceramic morning ghost. These cold coffee stains, they tell a simple tale of sunrise conversations growing pale, love past the sugar, and the daily news of comfortable and then of confused. A map of minutes of a shared routine, the quietest love I've ever seen, preserved in cold coffee stains. I trace the circle with the absent thumb, a silent, bitter, caffeinated sum of all the times we sat not saying much, but feeling love within the morning's touch. Now the silence has a different hollow taste, and every morning feels a frantic waste. And maybe love's not in the fireworks blaze, but in the quiet sunlit morning haze, and knowing how they take their coffee black in a gentle ritual of pouring it back. So I'll honor this old stain and let it be a sweet sad monument to you and me. And then I'll wash the cup. These cold coffee stains are losing their hold as this new solo morning stories told. They spoke of us, a gentle warm refrain, but now they're just a mark of fading in pain. I'll let the water run, let time erase this little brown and lonely resting place of cold coffee stains. Clean slate, empty cup. This apartment's bigger than it's ever been. The walls decided to stretch out since you left, and every single object in this room is floating in a vacuum of your theft. I move through echoes, slow and out of time, a dancer with a partner made of air. The silence isn't quiet, it's a chime that rings. He isn't with you, he isn't there. And I'm living in the space you left, a universe of hollow and of cold. I'm navigating by the star bereft, a story that's already been told. The space you left is growing every day. It pushes on my lungs, it weighs my chest. I but try to breathe within the space you left. I carved a canyon on my side of the bed, a valley where your body used to rise. I listen to the stories in my head, the what ifs and the never minds and lies. I try to fill it with the laundry and the books. We're busy working friends on Friday nights, but it's a gravity that always looks and pulls me back into its aching highs. And I am living in the space you left, a universe of hollow and of cold. I'm navigating by the star of your bereft, a story that's already been told. The space you left is growing every day. It pushes on my lungs, it weights my chest. I have nothing left to give or do or say, but try to breathe within the space you They say that nature hates a vacuum, dear. It rushes in to fill the empty place. So why does nothing rush in here? Just a hollow memory of face. Just the physics of a broken heart, where mass and love just simply disappeared, leaving me this everlasting dark and infinite space I always fear. The space you left is all. The space you I found the letters in a shoebox too, where love went to exhale its sweet perfume. Your handwriting, so confident and bold, is turning gray, a story going cold. The forevers are the first ones to retreat, a slow and steady, gentle, sad defeat. I hold them to the window, to the light, trying to keep the fading words inside. It's fading in on paper thin and old, a love too passionate for it to hold. The vows are ghosting, leaving just a trace of what was written in this sacred spaces. Proof back to sleep when nightmares chase me from the deep. A melody so soft and low, a harbor from the undertow. Your voice a blanket warm and sure, a promise I would be secure. Now when the panic wakes me wide, I have the ocean trapped inside. And I sing myself a saltwater lullaby, a sobbing melody beneath the starless sky. The waves are in my chest, the tide is in my eyes, this aching, endless, lonely lullaby. It rocks me with a violent, gentle swell, a story only sorrow knows how to tell. A salty, deep, never-ending cry, my solitary cold saltwater lullaby. I taste the sea upon my cheek, in every silent searching week. The pillow where your head would lay is damp and cold and far away. I hum the tune you can't recall against the bedroom wall, and let the current pull me down to where the light and love have drowned. And I sing myself a saltwater lullaby, a sobbing melody beneath the starless sky. The waves are in my chest, the tide is in my eyes, this aching, endless, lonely lullaby. It rocks me with a violent, gentle swell, a story only sorrow knows how to tell. A salty, deep, and never-ending cry, my solitary cold saltwater lullaby. What do you do when the comfort is gone, when the singer has left but the sad song plays on? You become both the storm and the shore, the wound and the one who is keeping the score. You learn all the words to this watery tune, and pray you wake up from it soon. Hush now, don't you cry, that's just a saltwater lullaby. Just the ocean saying goodbye. Saltwater lullaby. I washed the sheets and changed the number on the door, packed your laughter in a box and pushed it across the floor. I painted over where your shadow used to lean, convinced myself that you were just a passing scene. But routines are a fragile kind of glue, and in the stillness something old comes through. A floorboard creaks up a gentle echo slowly starting to fade. It doesn't speak of anger or a blame, just gently says I loved you, says your name. This ghost in the hallway. Sometimes I set 2 mugs out by the pot, forget for half a second that you're not a part of this new morning I've begun. Then feel the warmth of our old phantom sun. It doesn't burn, it doesn't leave a scar, just reminds me who we are and who we are and who we are. And maybe ghosts aren't chains that hold you tight, but memories learning how to be light, not stuck in sorrow, but learning how to pass like sunlight through a window made of glass. So I'll nod hello as it drips on through, acknowledging the love I had with you. There's a ghost in the hallway, soft and kind, a quiet imprint left upon my mind. It walks the path we wore into the wood, and for a moment I feel understood. It doesn't haunt with sorrow or with pain, just proves that nothing loved is ever in vain. My ghost in the hallway. It's faded now, but it was here, and it was real. I reread our old texts in the blue morning light. A digital ghost story ended mid-flight. The laughter and emojis, the good night, sleep tight. Now just a museum of a losing fight. I traced the words you wrote when I was your son, each one a small monument to the undone. The passion in the pixels, how the sentences run. Now the server is silent, the connection is gone, and I'm listening to the fading echoes of us, a conversation trapped in rust and dust, a whisper of a love that lost its thrust in a cavern of I miss you and mistrust. Every day the volume turns down more, a little less than it was before, just a resonant hum from a distant shore. The fading echoes, nothing more. I drive past the diner, I walk by the park, the landmarks of a love now lost in the dark. I try to hear your voice, to feel the old spark, but the memory's grainy, the recording start. The echo is softening, losing its edge, smoothing to a blur from a sharp, clear pledge. It's a mercy, I know, this I used to fear the silence, the empty dead sound, but now I fear the day I won't turn around, when I won't even strain to hear that faint, distant sound, when the echo finally leaves this hallowed ground. Will I be free, or just profoundly alone, in a quiet house that was once a home, with nothing left to answer when I whisper your name? Just the quiet settling of the final fading flame. Echo, echo, fainter now. I can't hear you anyhow, just a fading echo of an us that's gone. I move the chair to catch the morning light, a different angle trying to make it right, but the sunbeam hits the floor a certain way, and outlines where your armchair used to stay, a perfect square of bright and new wood, a negative of where you once stood. In this room now we rest and know the emptiness has simply changed its shape too. I'm living in the space you left behind, a geometric puzzle in my mind, trying to fill the volume of your air with plants, with books, with a pretended care. But matter can't replace a missing soul. The space you left has become a hollow hole. I breathe it in, I taste it, it's the dust in this rearranged and unfamiliar trust. I sleep diagonal across the bed, claiming the territory in my head. But I wake up curled up on my side, respecting all border deep and wide. My own heart betrays this new design by seeking out the ghost of your outline. And sometimes in a certain slant of rain, the space feels less like loss and more like gain. Not a room to stretch, a place for me to grow, a chance for my own light and shadow now to show. The space you left is painful, yes, and vast, but maybe it's the fertile ground at last. I'm growing in the space you left behind, no longer just a prisoner of my mind. I'm planting seeds in that bare patch of floor, learning who I am when I'm not yours anymore. The shape of you is fading from the air, replaced by just the quiet knowledge space, my room, my morning. We built it from sugar cubes and wishing threads, from whispered dreams and shared unmade beds. A cathedral of glances, a spire of some days. We were the architects of our own bright maze. Every I love you was a stone set right. Every compromise a beam of light. We hung the future from the vaulted ceiling, a delicate, magnificent feeling. Oh, this is fragile architecture, a masterpiece of crack conjecture. It couldn't bear the weight of fact, or the subtle seismic loving lack. I watch it tremble in the slightest breeze of a memory or a remember, please. It was beautiful while it stood, made of the wrong kind of wood. This fragile flows wrong architecture. The foundation, soft and sheer, the fault lines of a fundamental fear. We painted over them with brilliant hue. I need you and we'll make it through, but the plaster's falling now in sheets of dust, revealing only dry and crumbling. Subtle seismic loving lack. I watch it tremble in the slightest breeze of a memory or a remember, please. It was beautiful where it stood, made of the wrong kind of wood. Do I let it fall? Do I brace the wall? Do I whisper praise to watch it stall? Or do I step back into the sun and admit the construction was never done? That some blueprints are just meant for dreams and not for holding real life beams. It's the letting go of the grand design that hurts more than the broken spine. I feel the tremor, I hear the sigh as our beautiful line Falling down.